The offense is alive, and the Dallas Stars absolutely dominate the Blue Jackets. Let's talk about this one next on Locked On Stars.
Your Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm Joe Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan and play-by-play voice of the Chippewa Steel. Be sure to subscribe, never miss an episode of Locked On Stars, free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Thank you so much for making us your first listen and making us a part of your day. Happy Halloween to all you Stars fans out there, and a absolutely dominating performance for the Dallas Stars last night as they shut down the Columbus Blue Jackets by a final score of 5-3. It could have been worse, as Dallas was buzzing last night. They were all over the Blue Jackets, especially at 5-on-5. They had a ton of posts. They had a goal come back. I don't know what Mason Marchment has done to the hockey gods, but forgive him and let him have his goals. He's been so good and hasn't been rewarded all the time, which is unfortunate, but a wonderful game for the Dallas Stars on home ice before they head on their Western Canada road trip. And we'll get into this one and talk about this offense that's awakening. Thomas Harley has been phenomenal, and really just a full team effort for the Dallas Stars on home ice last night. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Well, we complained, or at least I complained and harped on having a fast start, and boy, did they deliver. 27 seconds in, Thomas Harley gets the Stars on the board. A beautiful little feed from Jason Robertson, and then Harley, who has, in my opinion, been the Stars' best defenseman the last two games coming into that contest last night, and he delivers. He's just been so active and jumping up in the rush and being a part of the offense. I thought he got off to a bit of a slow start, like he was almost timid. Definitely not what we've seen from him, especially going back to last spring. And he has just been all over the place. He's the size of Hakanpää, but can move like Miro. And it's just so deadly. And Daryl Ray brought it up on the broadcast. He's a top four defenseman. He's playing like it. And for him to jump up in the rush like that and then be able to bury it against Merzlikins was a beautiful sight, and the Stars were often running early. And then it ended up being a first period where, for the first time this season, you're like, man, the Stars absolutely dominated the other team. And then on the scoreboard, you're losing 2-1. A couple of bounces go the Blue Jackets' way, and the Stars are playing from behind 2-1, but you're feeling really good about the start. And, you know, I mentioned it yesterday that this was a team the Stars could dominate. The Blue Jackets have not been good at 5-on-5. They've given up a ton of chances, and the Stars were all over them. I mean, shift after shift. Pete DeBoer went back to the original lines, and it worked. And he spoke post-game about he wants to let a few of these games breathe, so to speak. You know, they've played 7 games in 3.5 weeks. It's been a very slow start, as we've touched on too. And he wants to give some of these line combinations some time to really gel and figure things out. And he went back to the original lines, and boom, it came to fruition right away as they hit a half a dozen posts in the game. And as I mentioned, they had a goal called back. They could have had a ton more. Merzlikins was really good through the first really 2 periods. I mean, the Stars could have had way more, and he was keeping Columbus in this ball game for the majority of it. And he was very very, very good. He ends up with, what was it, 30 or 28 saves on the net. There was a few empty netters in that one too. So he was good. And Columbus played very, very hard. They didn't even go away even towards the end, which was a good sign for them. A young team up front, of course. And they gave the Stars everything they could handle until it just became way too much. They gave it way too many high danger chances. It ends up being 18-9 in the high danger scoring chances department. The Stars doubled up on the Blue Jackets, and they had 8 in that second period. And I mean, at 5-on-5 at times, it looked like a power play for Dallas. The Duchene line was excellent. Pete DeBoer said Duchene was their best player. He picks up his first as a Dallas Star, and it's an important one too. Just a beautiful rebound off the shot from Suter. I mean, has a wide open net, and he's going to make that 99 times out of 100, gives the Stars a 3-2 lead. A great response from the Blue Jackets, and then Jake Oettinger shows up. Absolute larceny on Boone Jenner at the other end of the rink. On the backhand, he beat Otter, but he did not beat the glove. And that's another timely save, as Jake probably wasn't as sharp, you could say. Of course, a few bounces didn't go his way. He had to deal with the knuckle puck on one, then it gets thrown in front as he gives up his first. But when you need him most, when you just take a lead for the first time in the contest, he makes those 1 or 2 saves in tight, as Dallas got on their heels a bit and Blue Jackets started coming in waves, but Otter was there to bail you out. And that's what number one netminders do. And he did that on Monday night, which was good to see. 22 saves on 25 shots for Otter, but a couple of multi-point nights from Roope Hintz, Jason Robertson with a few points too, Wyatt Johnston, Dodonov, and Ben. Man, the offense just really woke up, and it was good to see that the chances they were getting, they started to execute. And, I spoke about it the last few nights where it's hard to harp and be really upset because they're getting to the right areas. They're getting these chances, just not finding the back of the net. And yesterday they did, even with a very, very good outing from the netminder Merzlikins, which is a very, very good sign and a big, big win before they head on their Western Canada road trip. Big congratulations to Roope Hintz, fastest Dallas Star to reach 250 points, 318 games. It's going to be broken here very shortly, as Robertson has 240 points in his career. So, yeah, that's going to get broken very, very soon. But big congratulations to Roope Hintz. Robertson has become quite the facilitator here. He's not doing it as the finisher. A couple of assists last night, and he's just becoming an all-around player, which is good to see. I'm not always overly concerned if he's scoring, if he's making the right plays, and he's being effective. That's when he's at his best at the end of the day. Power plays have to mark him. They're not going to let him shoot as much. Speaking of the power play, it goes 0 for 3 again. Not as bad as we've seen, though. There was much better signs on the power play units. The first one was a little meh, struggled on their entries a few times, but as the game wore on, they started moving the puck around. The movement was there, still struggling to get shots through, but they started to have opportunities and I think get the looks that they're wanting. And that's a good sign, even if you're not capitalizing all the time. The signs were there to having a good power play, just unable to cash in. But once again, a wonderful, wonderful game and just dominating performance. I mean, the score really doesn't even reflect this one, which is hard to say when you put up 5, but it was a fun, it was a peppy game too. It was entertaining on home ice at the American Airlines Centers. The Sagan Duchene line was excellent. Mason Marchment probably has played the 2 best games he has in a Dallas Stars uniform the past 2. He's just been so noticeable when he's staying out of the box. He's playing direct, and he's making plays with the puck on his stick. He's a very, very effective player. And I've been very high on him since he came over. I did not think he's had a great start to the season. And I mentioned that he was just kind of absent and taking penalties and putting the Stars behind the eight ball. But they put him down on the fourth line. And maybe that was the message that needed to be sent. Like, we're going to put you on the fourth line. And he's become very, very effective ever since. And he's just noticeable. He just hops off the screen to you, the plays he's making. And he's big and he's strong and he's not afraid to get in there and muck it up. He's so valuable. And it seems like we're reaping the benefits of what he brings. And that line in general was great. And Pete DeBoer thought Matt Duchene was the best he's seen. Miro on the back end was phenomenal. He didn't get rewarded with any points, but man, he was all over the ice too. Had the highest Corsi for percentage for the Stars in general. He played in 24 minutes in the contest, but an all-around really, really strong game from Dallas. And it was good to see. We've been kind of waiting for this moment, and boom, there it is. Now the games start to ramp up. So big win. Western Canada is in the path now, but final score 5-3 domination of the Blue Jackets. Let's get into some more about this offense and them unlocking something on this October as they wrap up this month. And we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there is no better time to get in the action. Number one, the app is so easy to use. Number two, there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. It's a wonderful time to be a sports fan. NDFW, wow, what a night it was. Rangers win, Mavs win, Stars win. We'll go back to Sunday. Even the Cowboys win. A wonderful, wonderful time in the Metroplex. Sprinkle some money on those guys and make you some money when your team wins. There's no better thing to do than make some money and enjoy your team that's winning. So you can visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. You ever feel like when you're trying to go to sleep and your brain just won't shut off? It keeps you up. Like you know you should be in bed, but you just can't. And you also feel like there's all these things you need to do, but you just can't. Therapy can help with that and figure out what's holding you back so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself. If you benefit from therapy before, whether or not you've done it and talked about it, there's so many great benefits to be going to therapy. And if you're thinking about it, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Look, we're all very busy and we have so many things going on. This is designed to be very simple and convenient for when you're having a tough time. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. You need the right one that can help you be the most effective. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNHL today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNHL. Alrighty, here we go. The offense has awakened, which is phenomenal to see as the Dallas Stars take down the Columbus Blue Jackets by a final score of 5-3 last night. Want to thank everybody for all your support. Be sure to keep an eye out for our preview tomorrow of the Calgary Flames as the Stars are on the road once again, taking on the Heritage Classic opponents. They got to take on the Calgary Flames, and the Edmonton Oilers here back-to-back for their first back-to-back of the season as well. It has snowed here in the state of Wisconsin, by the way, and happy Halloween to all you guys out there that maybe still trick-or-treat or going to some little get-together. It has already snowed, so I'm a bit shocked if you can't tell, which is pretty remarkable, but here we are, and we're going to deal with that. But one thing that I would like to deal with on a nightly basis is this Stars offense. And when the Stars offense is at its best, it's a 5-man working unit. The defense is getting involved. They're creating chances off the rush. They're grinding defensives down. They're out changing them. And that is just the best, most rewarding Dallas Stars team you can get. And yesterday, you just saw signs of it all around the ice surface. 33 shots on goal. They outshot the Blue Jackets 33-25. That's been a department they haven't been great at, unfortunately. And we've seen in the past the Stars have dominated in shot differential. And yesterday, they that really came to fruition. Taking a look at the heat map, I love seeing the heat maps and just seeing the coloration of where the Stars are getting their chances, and just it's this dark circle right in front of the net mouth. And they scored a couple of goals there yesterday, and they were getting so much traffic in front of Merzlikins, which was another phenomenal sign. They were taking his eyes away. They were making his life tough. Even against Toronto, when Wall was great, I did not think he was as phenomenal as people gave him credit for. I thought the Stars made his life a bit easier. Merzlikins, if he stole that game, you definitely got out-goalied. Just because he was very sharp in the first two periods of that one before the Stars offense just finally broke through the wall. And they got tons of traffic in front of him. They took his eyes away, and they got him moving laterally, and the Stars made him pay for it. And it was just fun to see the four lines just one after another stack shift after shift and build off each other, right? Sometimes it's important for one line to set up the next for a better shift. You don't always have to score to do that. I mean, case in point, look at the fourth line. Craig Smith, Foxa, and Delandria. They go out there, they do their job. They play 45 seconds in the other opponent's end. And then you can get the top line out there, and they can do what they do best. And when this team is rolling like that, it's really good to see. Dadonov with a beautiful goal too. Wyatt Johnston with a few points. He continues to impress as he scores on the empty netter. But, I mean, I feel like the first goal 27 seconds into the contest is just a microcosm of this Dallas Stars team, right? Creating a turnover. Your defenseman jumps up in the rush, and you bury it, and you're up 1-0 very quick. That's the type of team the Stars want to be. Scoring quick, getting chances often and early, making it hard to play in the American Airlines Center. They want to be a very tough team to play. That is one area they can improve on from a season ago. And if they do that, they're going to be very deadly. This team will play well on the road. The veteran squad and this core group, just they understand how to do that. And Jake Oettinger just thrives and feeds off hearing a pin drop in an opponent's barn. They're going to be so good on the road, just their makeup. And if they can improve on home ice and they give performances like they did last night, night in and night out, they're going to be a very good team. And look, Columbus is nowhere near the realm of the Dallas Stars, right? But at the same time, they play hard, and there's still some cats on that team that can make you pay. Johnny Gaudreau was really good. Severson, Werenski, guys like that, to name a few, are very good. So you have to be very aware of any team that comes into your building. And the Stars have fits with the Blue Jackets in the past. And they came in and they were able to get after them early, and it was good to see. And even though they were down after the first period, you just felt like they're fine. They're gonna make the adjustments. It's gonna come, and they'll get the job done, and they did. The Duchene line in general, 10 scoring chances for that line alone. The next closest was 6, and that was with the fourth line. But Duchene, Seguin, and Marchment, man, that third line is such an X factor. I'm willing to bet there's no other team that has a better third line than the Dallas Stars. I mean, those are some high quality players on your third line. Duchene is at some points looking like the Stars' best forward in some aspects. I mean, he just has so much confidence and poise with the puck. He makes so many smart plays. He holds on to it. He doesn't make just quick decisions and throws his line mates in bad positions. He can work beneath the goal line. He creates offense for himself, and he creates offense for others. He's been as advertised when the Stars have signed him. And if this goal that he just scored yesterday unlocks him, look out. This offense is going to be very, very deadly. But good for Duchene to get his first, not in a skills competition. He's been deadly 2 for 2 already in the shootout, and he scores an important goal, which was nice to see as well. So the Dallas Stars, dominating performance on home ice as they take down the Blue Jackets by a final score of 5-3. Let's preview this little Western Conference, or not Western Conference. It is a Western Conference to some degree, and Western Canada swing. Flames, Oilers, and Vancouver coming up for these Dallas Stars. Let's do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Sleeper. And a new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Jason Robertson could score 50 goals. The Stars could hoist the Stanley Cup, and you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contest. Players like Robertson and Seguin and Miro, you can choose them, and all you have to do is pick things like stats, goals, saves, assists, and you can pick more or less. And that's what's so great about daily fantasy hockey and other daily fantasy hockey sports, or daily fantasy sports in general, not just hockey. You can do the NFL, you can do the MLB, like the Dallas or like the Texas Rangers in the World Series. You can do the Mavs and the NBA and the Cowboys. You can do it all. And it's very, very easy on the Sleeper app. And like I said, all you have to do is pick players and record more or less on certain stats, and you can win 100 times your bet on Sleeper. All you have to do is correctly predict the outcome. You heard me, Stars fans. You can win 100 times your playing money by playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and location availability. Time to wrap up today's episode of Locked On Stars. Be sure to leave your comments, like, and subscribe. Almost to 2,000 subscribers here on Locked On Stars. We're like 17 away, which is awesome. And I know I've been here for a cup of coffee, but let's bump that thing up. Continue to grow this community. Great time to be a Stars fan. The Stars are 5-1-1 now on the season after a big win over the Columbus Blue Jackets, and they're off to a great start. And DeBoer mentioned that even though they haven't played like they wanted to in the first 6 games, small sample size, it was important that they were still winning games and picking up points. It's a lot easier to work on things and maneuver your way through this slow start while picking up points. It's another thing when you're losing a lot of games. And I think that's why it really comes back to having great goaltending at the end of the day. When the Stars were bailed out in the first few by Otter and how very, very impressive he is. And we're just witnessing Vezina level goaltending night in and night out, folks. I hope you realize that. This is, and at some points, I think we get numb to it. We're like, well, yeah, that's another great save. But man, teams don't get this every night. And this is a very, very strong start to his season. Stars are in second place in the Central Division, just 1 point behind the Colorado Avalanche. It is a bit early to be looking at the standings, but it's always good to keep an eye on where you stand. And the Stars stand in second right now. And they have a few opponents in this Western Canada road swing that are going to be interesting. You got the Flames, the Oilers, and the Vancouver Canucks, who have jump-started their season. They're off to a phenomenal start with Rick Tocchet behind the bench in his first full season. Of course, he was hired midway through last year, and they're starting to play, folks. This is a good team that really underachieved last year. And Edmonton and Calgary are two teams that underachieve right off the bat here. So McDavid is back too. He came back in the Heritage Classic, which is a good sign. It's always good to have McDavid in your contest, especially for a big game like the Heritage Classic. This is the both first games for the Oilers and Flames coming off the Heritage Classic. So I'm interested to see if they come out flat and they don't have that extra juice. And maybe the Stars can really get on these guys early. It's the best time to face these opponents too, right? They're down. Don't give them a reason to get up. And if the Stars play the way they did yesterday, they're going to be just fine. But it was great to see everybody involved. You had 4 points from defensemen too. Suter got in the action. Lundqvist, and of course Thomas Harley. Mira on the power play was doing his thing. I'm ready for Thomas Harley to get his power play number 2 spot. He deserves it, man. And I like Lundqvist. Let Harley control the reins. And they put him on there. I'll give him credit. They did have Harley and Lundqvist on the back end on that power play too. They're kind of experimenting there, which I think is good, right? Nothing's working so far. Or it hasn't worked how you want it to. So feel free to throw some guys on there. It's a deep, deep lineup. See what you have out of some guys. And it was nice to see Harley on the second unit for some time. But a big, important road trip here coming up. 6 of the next 8 games are on the road for the Dallas Stars. Flames and Oilers back-to-back. So we'll see how the Stars play in a back-to-back situation. And then you have the Canucks, and they will not be home till November 6th when they take on the Boston Bruins. The Stars have always had success on these Western Canada road trips. They've done well in the Flames in past and the Oilers. Of course, the recent history with the Flames. I bet Otter goes in Calgary, and I can already hear the storylines. The last time Otter was in the building, not the last time, but a few springs ago when he had a .954 save percentage in a 7-game series. The only reason that game or that series went 7 games. Very impressive from Otter. But, just a few more numbers on Otter and what we're seeing through 7 games. He's been a great goaltender in October. He's 8-1-1 in that month. And he's been so fresh, his rebound control. And one of the things that he's really improved on in recent seasons is his ability to find the puck through traffic. He's become so good at tracking the puck and being in the right position. And he just has this confidence about him that you need in a number 1 netminder, and it just exudes from him. And he has that swagger, and you can just see it and feel it, that he feels that, no, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. You're not going to beat me tonight. And that's just so valuable. 1.74 goals against average through his first 5 starts this season. And night in and night out, they get it. And if they get this offense, man, like they did yesterday with the Duchene line rolling, the Robo, Hintz, and Pavelski line is going to do their thing. We already know what we get out of them. It's so deep. They have 4 lines that can put pressure on you, and they forced the issue last night, and they came away with a victory and a big 2 points as they head on this Western Canada road trip. I've gone a bit longer than usual, but a lot of positives to speak about. I was a bit negative, I feel like, over the past few episodes. So, hey, I don't want to be negative. I want to praise them and shower my appreciation like the Stars fans did last night for Jake Oettinger. Much appreciated. It's always nice to get on here and harp about the good things. There was some bad things in there, okay? They're always sprinkled in, but that's going to happen. Look, it's an 82-game season. It's the National Hockey League, baby. That's going to do it on today's episode of Locked On Stars. Thank you so much for all of your comments, your feedback. Love you guys so much. Always appreciate it. How about those Texas Rangers too, baby? Big win as they play tonight as well. Enjoy your Halloween, wherever you may do. Do it responsibly. I'm going to enjoy the snow. I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out. Got to get the shovels out already. It's not even November. What is going on? Anyways, that'll do it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. So long, Stars fans.